everyone. Let's take a deep breath, right? We're here again. I like to introduce my guest. His name is Mel, the Aloha Shirt Psychic in the house. Hi, Mel. I know that everybody that follows me probably follows you twice, right? But just in case there might be some straggler out there that doesn't know who you are, if you want to go ahead and let us know how to get a hold of you, where they find you, what do you do on your channel?
Well, on my channel, I talk a lot about national and world events. I talk a lot about politics. For my members and my subscribers, usually for members, 1 or 2 Mondays a month, I answer personal questions, and my members get, a discount on readings. And then, I give away a couple free readings a month for my members and from my subscribers. But I'm a psychic. A lot of people in the community read the cards. I can, and I do sometimes, but I just like to go off my intuition. I'm a medium. I've been doing this work for over 50 years. I've been doing it a long time.
Yes, you have.
I'll be 72 in March. So, I started when I was 18. So do the math. I got my degree in psychology because I was interested in ESP, still interested in ESP. I thought that psychology would give me the answers for it, and it didn't. But so on my channel, we try to just ease people's fears and just let them know that we'll get through these dark nights of the soul, if you will. So it's all about helping people. And there you go.
Yes, absolutely. And I know you collaborate with a lot. One of my favorites, Linda G. You collaborate with her quite often. You just put a good word into it. I've been trying to get back with her so that she can collaborate with me. She's a busy girl. But anyways, we've got a good show here tonight. We're going to talk about peace, really, but we're going to kind of skew it a little bit towards a little bit of political, because my channel is political, and to kind of bring it back down. Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have some really horrible things. I don't know if you've gotten on live or talked on YouTube yet about Renee's murder yet. Have you? Yeah, it was. They're now saying that he went to the hospital and he had internal bleeding.
There was nothing wrong with him.
Not a thing.
Excuse me. I thought this would be a cute little joke because it was kind of warm here in Chicago, and tonight is going to get down to 12. So I can say, I've got the Aloha shirt from Aloha, Chicago. Cold Aloha, Chicago.
It is very cold there for sure.
Just like when Cheetolini, supposedly got shot in the ear and, oh, my ear, and he had the sanitary napkin on his
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the spin. And I watched the video. In fact, I had a discussion with somebody this morning, and I said, I just think it's terrible what ICE is doing, wearing masks. And she was like, well, they wear the mask so to protect themselves. And I go, whoa. I've worked with law enforcement for years, federal, local, national, police departments all over. They don't wear masks. They don't have to disguise their identity. That's number one.
Yeah.
ICE is not law enforcement. Trump is making it paramilitary.
Correct.
And he's doing that because the court says he can't bring in the National Guard. And this conversation I had with this woman, well, he says, okay, so I can have ICE do it and say that they're law enforcement, but they're really paramilitary. The other part of the discussion I had with this particular person was that, they're rounding up the criminals. And I said, again, wrong. 97% of the people that they're rounding up have absolutely no criminal backgrounds whatsoever. And now they're just wholesale rounding people up. If you disagree with them, if you if you don't do what they want you to do, if you speak up against the regime, they arrest you without due process, without warrant. They detain you. Some get sent to concentration camps. For what? For speaking up. And this person was like, yes, but they're out there throwing things at them and they're doing this. And I said, the only ones creating the violence are the ICE agents themselves.
Correct.
But did you see the video of good of her murder? Well, no, I didn't watch it, but she was trying to run him over. I said,
Oh yeah. Like, no, I didn't see it, but I heard through the grapevine of propaganda that this is what happened.
correct. And they were, and I said, like, no, I've seen that video a bazillion times from all angles. And then the rhetoric was, well, her girlfriend egged them on. I said, her wife egged them on. I said, wait a minute, let's straighten this out.
Yeah.
He turned her wheel to the right.
He videotaped her turning her wheel to the. He knew the moment he had that videotape on there, he knew that she was not trying to hit him and that she was trying to avoid him.
Correct. I said, and furthermore, she said to him right before any of this happened, I'm not mad at you, whatever. Yep. It was very polite. She had her window down. They told her to leave. She was trying to back up, and then she had her wheel turned to the right. She did not try to run him over. He was standing here to the side of her vehicle, way to the side of her vehicle. He was nowhere near the direction she was driving.
Well, they boxed her in. See, in one of the videos, he went behind her vehicle, parked right here. She was right here, and that other truck right here. So he was literally standing in the only place to make sure that she went the way he wanted her to go, to make it look like she was trying to hit him. And it worked for all the ding-dongs out there. It worked for every single MAGA out there. It's like a thirst trap for them.
Well, here's the thing.
Crazy.
It worked, but it didn't work. And I want to tell you why. Because he was standing to the side. He wasn't standing in front of her.
No.
He was very far away from her. And then one of the ICE people came up, open your door, open your door. And then as she's going this way, he walks up to her car window. You can clearly see it. Execution stance, pow, pow, pow. Then she's obviously dead as soon as the first bullet hit.
No, I don't think the first bullet got her. That's the reason why he did two more. If the first bullet would have gotten her, see, that's what I was saying, because he was at an angle, it missed her.
No, I said when the first bullet hit, she was dead. When the first bullet hit her, she was dead.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's the reason why he did two more.
So then you see her car going this way. Yeah, because she was dead and the car was going on its own. Right. And it didn't stop until it hit another car. And then you hear him saying, effing gosh. Or, okay. So there was no way she was engaging in domestic terrorism. And the other thing this person said was, well, those people are out there protesting. They're throwing things at the agents. They're doing this. They're doing that. Her partner egged them on. I said, wait a minute. I know a lot of law enforcement people, no matter what, okay, her partner said, no matter what you're thinking, all right, she did not engage in any act of violence against him. And he had no business murdering her the way he did, shooting through an open window. She was trying to follow their orders. And it's clear that he walked up to her and shot her. I said, and how about all of these other innocent people that are getting shot or beat up or sent to concentration camps? I said, no, it's a tragedy. And then the rhetoric changed to, well, they're arresting these criminals. I said, here again, at the risk of being redundant, wrong. The only criminals are the ICE agents themselves. Right. So what the Citolini regime and Kristi Noem, and by the way, I had predicted she's going to get impeached, and they're drafting articles of impeachment against her. Not going to go anywhere, but I do see her at some point in the future, the not so distant future, um, being tried for obstruction of justice and for abuse of power and the money that she's getting illegally. That's another story.
It's a whole nother video. Yeah, I agree.
I'm on a roll. But anyway, I just said that, these ICE agents dragging kids out of school, breaking families apart, um, saying that they're going to deport Native Americans to where? The Native Americans are here. Um, are, you know, and if they're, and I said the other thing is the woman that he murdered was white. She wasn't Latino, she wasn't of color, she was white. She was white. Well, but they did it just because she was interfering with them.
No,
Um,
he did it because they probably figured out she was gay.
it, and
Okay.
that's another thing I brought up because that comment was made.
Yep.
So the point is that, and I said to this woman, but people have a right to for peaceful assembly, and they're not the ones creating the problem. It's ICE.
Well, see, this is what they do is they create, so they literally steer us to always investigate her actions instead of investigate his
So
actions.
basically,
They're
they're
talking
victimizing.
his actions or their, yeah,
They're victimizing the victim.
correct.
But essentially, what they're saying is, don't believe your own eyes.
Yeah,
Don't believe what the video clips are showing. You
right.
have to believe what we're saying. And most of us, at least 70% of us, are saying, we're not buying into that BS.
Yeah,
You're making us look like idiots, but really you guys look like idiots because we're seeing what we're seeing, and you're trying to say we're not. Wrong answer. Um, and even some MAGAs are saying, wait a minute. Uh, Many Republicans are saying, wait a minute.
I hope so.
They're saying, wait a minute. No. Even police officers saying, no, you
Oh,
do not do that to somebody. What he killed her. The whole hospital thing, in my opinion, my psychic opinion, for entertainment purposes only, they might have taken him to a hospital, but they can say anything. He's got internal bleeding. He didn't even get hit by that car. If
no.
you watch that car didn't even graze him. So if he got internal injuries, and then he walked away. If he
He
got
walked
internal
away
injuries, it
his
wasn't
vehicle and drove away.
exactly.
So no, he wasn't hurt at all. Well, that brings us to the whole thing is we're rehashing that. And of course it deters us from the Epstein files, and then it deters us from, Sasha Riley, and then it deters us, all of this stuff, him trying to go after Greenland. I mean, everything is just in chaos, which brings us back to how do we stay peaceful within chaos?
It's the deceive, divert, detract, distract, divide, destroy,
Always.
be duplicitous. Okay, um, you know, they want the chaos because what dictators do is they turn paramilitary organizations like Hitler did with the Gestapo, like Trump is doing with ICE, um, against its people, and they bully people and arrest people when people don't go along with what the regime wants. And then what they do is they create distractions, like going into Venezuela or threatening an ally country. We're part of NATO.
Right.
Greenland is part of NATO. Well, uh, Greenland is part of Denmark, which is a NATO country. Like one NATO country going after another one, it's abominable.
Bizarre.
But wannabe dictators and dictators do that because it diverts attention away from the atrocities that they're creating at home.
Yeah.
And when Trump took Maduro out, look, nobody's in tears because Maduro is gone, but it's one illegitimate president taking out another. And now Trump is talking about, well, we're going to send military into, Iran. Oh, excuse me, because of what the Iranian government is doing to the people. Oh, yeah, the Iranian government is killing protesters and innocent people. But Donald, isn't that what your ICE agents are doing here?
There's no ironic for them.
No. And then I hear Christy Noem say, "Well, we've sent those people to Minneapolis because there's so much crime going on there, and it needs to be straightened out." But wait a minute, that's not why Donald Trump said they were there. He said they were there to arrest the criminals, the people who have committed heinous crimes, felonies, who are here illegally. And now they're saying, oh no, if they look Hispanic, if they look this, if they look that, then we will arrest them without any probable cause whatsoever.
Right.
And so the rhetoric changes. And that's what dictators do.
That is true.
Um,
I mean, everything that we have been going through, I mean,
so
good
what can
we're
we
a
do?
year in. You know what I mean?
We can all be angry
Yeah.
and speak up. But if we engage in violence against them,
Yeah.
that gives them reason to be violent against us. We need to not get frustrated, not give up. Don't let the fear stand in front of us and hold us back. Let it get behind us and push us forward. And just like we're doing, demand that our lawmakers in Congress do their friggin' jobs.
Hey, I have a Republican representative in my district. His name is Jeff Crank, and that boy knows my name because I email him regularly. I try to get an appointment with him to talk. He's very rarely in the office, but he knows who I am because I constantly make sure that I tell him exactly what we think. Nothing changes him. I still get emails. He's very excited about Trump. You know what I mean? He's a Trumper.
Somebody says in the chats, Trump wants to run Venezuela, but he can't even run this country. That's true.
Yeah, you know what? I want him go. Can
But
Venezuela just have him for the president, and can we just be peaceful?
well, the vice president in Venezuela that was vice president under Maduro, I can't think of her, Machado. I can't think of her name right now. She's been sworn in, but she's a puppet of Trump. But I think there was one of Maduro's generals who was a spy and let the United States know everything Maduro was doing because, they wanted power. But what I see is there's other generals in Venezuela that's going to say, no, we don't want Maduro. We don't want her. We don't want Trump telling us what to do.
Right.
And I see a coup d'etat.
Yeah.
And I see them putting in the rightfully elected president, the one that Maduro said didn't win when really she did.
Right.
I see her in power. I remember years ago in the 70s in Venezuela, when I was there, Carlos Andres Perez was the president, and he nationalized oil. When they say Venezuela is not the biggest oil producer in the world. They have oil, but they're not the largest oil producer. But anyway, Carlos Andres Perez says, I'm going to nationalize oil. And the reason why he did it was because the American oil companies were in Venezuela exploiting Venezuela's resources, oil, refining the oil into gas and whatever else, and then selling it back to the country at 3 or 4 times the price or whatever it was. And Venezuela was getting this much, and the oil companies were getting buku money.
Right.
And the president said, no. I remember the Arab oil embargo in the 70s. And the reason it was done is because American oil companies were exploiting these other countries for their oil. And those OPEC oil exporting countries said enough is enough. And that's why Carlos Andres nationalized oil in Venezuela. And then, for a while, Venezuela was a wonderful democracy. And then, dictators came to power. It got really corrupt. Well, look at what's going on here. Same thing.
Same thing. Well, that's what I mean. It's like we know. everybody, even, the people who are watching us right here, right now, that we all know all of this is going on, but what we're stuck in is knowing how to, it's like, how do we get to the other side of doing? Because
So
we know, we got that rehash of knowing.
I think what we do is if we get violent, that's what he wants.
Yeah, we can't
Because
do that.
he's trying to create chaos. He would almost like to have a civil war. I think we're kind of in a bloodless one anyway, because if he can create chaos and violence here, then his idea is to create martial law.
I know.
And if he
That's
can do
waiting.
that, he can stay in power. The other thing is, I heard him say, well, if the Democrats win the midterms, they're going to impeach me. Yeah, you're damn right.
We're going to do more than that.
Uh,
We're going to demand our people to do more
well,
than
what can we do? Exercise our right to peaceful protest. Look at what Gandhi did, Mahatma Gandhi in India. They were ruled by the British for years, and Gandhi started this whole peaceful movement, pacifist movement, where he was not violent,
that. Right.
and India got its independence.
Yeah.
So I think we can go out and exercise our right in mass to
Well, the
peacefully
the
protest.
power, there's tremendous amount of power in peaceful protesting.
Yes,
It
there is.
has changed the course of many countries and peaceful protesting. There's evidence against that.
And, and
Or
look what happens when somebody is peaceful protesting and they're murdered by some thug who works for the government. Christy Nome says that ICE is in here again is in Minneapolis because of the crime. That's not why they're supposed to be there. But who are the criminals in Minneapolis? The ICE agents that are doing this to the good citizens of Minneapolis.
right,
The
but who's
ICE
holding them
agents
who's holding them accountable?
ICE agents that are doing it to the good citizens of Chicago.
Yeah, it's they're not being held accountable, and that's what. So here's the thing.
Accountability. That's another thing we can do.
Yeah, the accountability. Well, here's the thing that you know how a narcissist will just push you and push you and push you, and if they get no reaction, they kind of lose interest because they can't get you to react. They can't get you to get mad. They can't get you to do anything. I have a feeling that's probably where they're at right now. I mean, these guys have been unleashed. Like, do whatever you want, literally, and they cannot get or receive the action that they want. They do get the protests and stuff like that, but they're not getting the violence back that they want because they're gonna lose their interest. And I'm waiting for that little thing to happen because these are narcissistic men and women. I saw the women out there trying to just beat up, and I mean, they're gonna get tired.
I think I see Aiden. Hi, Aiden. Aiden says a lot of wars don't get names until years later. While you're going through it, it just feels like normal life slowly melting away. Here again, I think we need to speak up. I think we need to exercise our rights to peaceful assemblies. Yes, unfortunately, some people will get hurt, some will get beat up, which is wrong. But those of us who are peacefully exercising our right to peaceful assembly, we're getting world attention.
We
I'm
are.
getting calls from people all over the world,
True.
saying, wow, everybody in the United States needs to band together to stop this. At least 70% of us are. I think, we need to, here again, demand Congress do its job. We need more and more to speak up against the sociopath Christy Noam and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel.
You know what I think here when you said that we got to make sure that we're holding our representatives holding accountable as well. I think all of the Republicans, if you have a Republican representative, I think they need to be held accountable. I think they need to hear from you. I think they need to hear that. I mean, our Democratic representatives, they got it. They're on board, right? They don't need to hear from us much more. But the Republicans, how much more. I mean, you really need to be on them, like I am with mine, Jeff Crank. I don't know if I'll ever change him, but he hears from me.
Well, the Dems are finally starting to grow a set. You
Yes,
know,
I'm
they
so
need
thankful
they
that
need to
they're
stand up and
overbuilt.
be they need to stand up and be fiery, like Elizabeth Warren, like whether you like him or not, the governor of California,
Oh, I love Newsom.
Newsom. Well, some people don't, but I love Newsom.
I
I,
love Newsom.
I think he's going to run for president.
Yep.
Uh, Look what they're doing to Mark Kelly. Our Constitution says that we can speak up against the government without fear of reprisal from the government. Look
Yep.
at what they're doing to the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Look at what they're doing to there's somebody else, a reporter that they just raided because they've got classified documents. Excuse me. The only one who is guilty of mishandling classified documents is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Um, so, but the more that they do that to people, they're trying to frighten people, the more it makes people angry, the more that people become incensed, and the more people are going to scream louder, stop it.
I hope so.
I see
Yeah.
people in this country protesting and marching in mass. And I think this whole thing with Good is I'm so sorry she was murdered. It was heinous, but she's going to be the poster child of 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 us speaking up, saying, "Remember her." Her partner said how wonderful she was. Everybody said how wonderful she was. She was no more of a domestic terrorist than I am Donald Duck.
Well, we all know that. We
We
all,
all
I mean,
know that.
the
But
things
people
no.
are going to start saying, wait a minute, we're not going to allow, you know, the government to tell us we can't believe our eyes and our ears. And certain media outlets who are Trump's propaganda outlets, there's two that I can think of. One starts with an F and one starts with a C. People aren't going to watch them. The
Yeah.
thing that's going to really help save this country is the independent media, our court systems. And I had predicted that Minnesota would file lawsuits against ICE and the federal government, and that's exactly what they're doing. And I see the courts saying that Minneapolis or Minnesota is going to be able to investigate the guy that murdered.
They took her vehicle out of state.
Right, right. I mean, her dog was in the car. Come on,
Yep.
her partner.
They literally rushed her vehicle out of state. So I mean, I have zero faith with the Republicans doing what they're supposed to
Well,
do.
now they're trying to
Well,
drag her. They're trying to drag her name through the mud.
and thank goodness we had videotape of all of that.
Oh yeah, that's why we need to film everything.
Everything.
But,
Film everything. You
but
see him.
I see the state at some point, the state of Minnesota, the court saying they can investigate, and I see them indicting him for murder.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, but they have to wait until after he is protected. He is insulated right now. And that's the insulation. It doesn't matter if they put you know charges against him right here right now. It's not going to go anywhere. So murder is it never expires or whatever it's called. I can't think while I'm on
The statute of limitations.
yeah, there we go. It never goes away. So they have to wait until all of this thing. It's like this great big huge monopoly game that we keep on playing. They do this, we do that. They do this, they do that. We counteract, they react, we do that. This huge monopoly game going on. And it's just bizarre to sit back and just keep on watching it over and over and over again.
It can't be tit for tat. There's a new movie, Nuremberg, and it's about how psychiatrists interviews and Hermann Goering, and Hermann Goering was second in command to Adolf Hitler. There were many different Nuremberg trials,
Sure.
and it's about the trial for Goering, but there's also it's called Judgment at Nuremberg,
Mhm.
and it was made in 1961. And that one is about them trying the Nazi judges.
Mhm.
And there was this one judge, Ernst Janning, I think. He was a very learned man, a very smart man. He was a Nazi judge, and it was a brilliant movie. And I suggest everybody watch it because a lot of what happened with judges or with politicians uh, in Nazi Germany is happening here.
Right.
And at the very end, Spencer Tracy plays the part of one of the judges on the tribunal, and he says to Burt Lancaster, who played uh, this 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 villain, he says to him, uh, like, well, I I really didn't know everything that was going on, and blah blah blah, and I feel so bad. And Spencer Tracy says to him, "You were guilty when you sentenced the first innocent man to death."
Yep. Absolutely.
It's and then you just brought up something about tit for tat. They do this, we do that, blah blah blah. When the movie, it was a movie, and it won Maximilian Schell won an Academy Award for his portrayal. I mean, everybody see it. You'll think, whoa, it's reminiscent of what's happening here now. Anyway, when they premiered for television, it was preempted by what was going on in Selma, Alabama. And that's when the people had their march. It was the right to peaceful assembly on Selma. And it was a huge march led by Dr. Martin Luther King, who in my book is a saint. And it showed the police turning water hoses on people, beating people, putting dogs on people.
Right.
But the more they did that, the more people marched. And the more they did that, people were like, we will not get violent. You will not hold us back.
Yeah.
And look at the change that brought about
Right.
for human rights. And
Mm.
that's what we have to do today. No matter how much they beat us, no matter how much they throw tear gas at us, no matter how much they turn dogs on us, we must speak up, and we have no choice. We must exercise our right to peaceful assembly and
While
do
we
it
have it.
peacefully. No, and just like Gandhi did, even though he got beat up, I'm not advocating violence,
No.
but if we do it long enough and loud enough, as the people back then said in 1965, we shall overcome.
Yeah.
I grew up in the 60s and 70s in the South, and I remember signs that said whites only. And I lived through those marches. And when I got a little bit older in the late 60s and early 70s, I joined protest. I was arrested once for peaceful protest, for disorderly conduct in a little southern town that was ran by the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't stop us.
No. We do.
We
We definitely
must
need to get out in the streets.
we must stand up,
Yeah.
because it's like, if we don't stand up against what they're doing to our African American friends and our Latino friends and our LGBTQ friends, you know what? If we don't speak up, then when they come after us, there's nobody to speak up. And that's not my phrase. I think it was a priest or something that said that, and he was right. And I know I'm preaching, and I don't mean to be preachy, but it's amazing to me that when they aired that movie in 1965, it's when the People's March on Selma was going on. And everybody go back and look at the footage of that. And
Yeah.
that's what's happening here. And we all need to stand firm and say, no, we will not succumb to a government that brutalizes its citizens. We
Yeah.
don't. That's not what a democracy does.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what we can do.
Right. I mean, our hearts are there. Everybody's. I truly believe all the Democrats, especially our subscribers. We're just all there. I know a lot of them are not able to get out of their homes,
Don't have to
but they
get
can
out.
definitely send. They can send their energy to us. So for those who are absolutely
They can
cannot.
send their energy. They can, whether they're congressperson or their senate or their representatives are Democrat, MAGA, Republican, keep calling. There are networks you can call if you see ICE in the area. Um, there are things you can
Videotape
do,
them if you can.
classes online you can take that shows you what your rights are, and you can tell other people their rights. You can volunteer to make calls. You can write your congressperson, and people say, well, it falls on deaf ears. Well, it might, but you don't know until you've written them. There's so many things we can do without getting out there and having people who can't get out and march. I get that, but there's so many things we can do.
While you're in your room, while you're in your house, you write the emails. I'll march for you. You know what I mean? You
Bingo.
emails, you do all of that stuff. I will march for you for sure. There's something that the whole community. I mean, we're all like we're preaching to the choir, right? They are like, we know this, we
Well,
understand.
we're not really. You're kind of right that we're preaching to the choir, but we're not, because look at this good that was murdered, and right before her murder, she said something nice to the person who murdered her. Now,
Yeah,
anybody with a moral compass at all would
knows
look
it. That,
and
yeah,
say, wait a minute, he murdered her. I don't care if you call a cop every bad name in the book.
yeah, they're not allowed to murder you before that.
They're not allowed to murder you because of that. But she was being nice
Yeah.
and she got murdered.
See so here's the question. Truly, deep down in your soul, do you really have faith in the Republicans, cult members, literal cult members nowadays, that they're ever going to change?
I can't sit here and say all Republicans are bad. There's some decent Republicans. There's some bad Democrats. There's some evil Democrats too, but there's a lot of good Democrats. I have no tolerance for the ultra right-wing fascist so-called Christian nationalists that are advocating killing people because they're white. They're nothing more than white supremacists, shrouding it in religion and shrouding it, and under the guise that people are criminals. I see, I had predicted that there were going to be Republicans that were going to walk out, and the Republicans resigning and behind the scenes starting to speak up. And many are walking out, and many are reaching across the aisle. Should it be more? Absolutely, it should be. But I can't say that all Republicans are bad. Now, everybody, please don't start sending me a bunch of hate mail.
No, I can't. I'm not talking about the normal Republicans we've known all of our lives. The people who are I am talking cult members, meaning that they have explicitly followed all demands, all law, rules that Trump or the administration wanted them to do. Even the people that are sitting at home. I have a brother that nothing changes his mind.
It's the same in Nazi Germany.
Nothing.
It was the same. There was a poignant thing in this movie with the new Nuremberg, when you see one of this Nazi doctor, Goering, and the prosecutor really one of the prosecutors really nails it, and Goering is acting like he's winning and he's all puffed up. And when they said, would you do it again? Did you believe in the Führer? He said, absolutely, I would do it again.
Yes, those are the ones I'm talking about.
The point is, you're right.
Yeah.
And I've said this all along. even MAGAs are turning against Trump because he played on people's fears. He vilified groups of people, and that's what dictators do to
Yes.
take power. They blame another group who can't defend themselves,
Yes.
right? And that's what Hitler did.
Yes.
Um, I think that there are MAGAs turning against Donald Trump, but Trump's base, that little base, that 20 or 30% will be his base. That's not going to change. What we need to focus on is just saying, we will not tolerate this in American apartheid. We will not tolerate that 30% telling the rest of us and arresting the rest of us and robbing us of our constitutional rights.
Right. So right now they have the power.
They think they have the power.
We as psychics and all that, we know where power really comes from.
It's
But
it's
they
funny.
have enough power to do damage.
It's funny after Hitler was defeated, a lot of towns where there were people that were supposed Nazis. Oh, there's no Nazis in the town anymore because they all hid in the woodwork. However, there was still that group that followed him and drank the Kool-Aid, and even once he was dead, loyal Nazis.
Yeah.
There's going to be those people that once Trump is gone and this dark night of the soul will end,
It will.
that are going to be staunch followers of Trump, and they'll keep trying to resurrect his stuff. But guess what? They will not succeed.
Yeah. Well,
Because
history tells us, Germany, how rise and the fall, rise and the fall. This has happened throughout the world many a times. Look at the Brits, the rise, the fall, the Romans, the rise, the fall. And America got too big for its britches, to be honest with you. I think really truly that's what happened. I don't think they just got so dominant. So dominant.
The thing that it's just really sad. There are those people that that just want nothing but power, like Kristi Noem. She doesn't care about making America great again. She's a bigot. She's evil.
Well,
I mean,
what they think
she
America great.
shot her dog.
Yeah.
She's evil. She is a sociopath.
But they think something different. We think America great is different than what they think. America great for them is all white people and slaves.
They don't care.
That's they say it. Let's make great again. We think differently than what makes it great.
They don't care about making America great. They're sociopaths.
They want for them.
The only thing they care about is holding on to power.
Right.
And they've got a group of people that are bigots, that are racist, that think America should only be for white people only.
And that's what they're saying. Let's make it great.
That's the American apartheid.
Yeah.
However, those are the evil ones. Those are the ones that will never change.
Right.
But some of those people voted for Trump because he played on their fear. Yeah. Just like that's how dictators come to power. They will change. Mm-hmm. They will say, what did we do? And they're saying it already. Oh my God, what did we do? Because now it's hitting them. Now they're paying the higher prices at the grocery store. Now they're paying, seeing the inflation, the unemployment, all of that stuff. His little base, I've often said his base will be his base, but they will lose power. And some people don't believe this, but they will be brought to justice.
I believe that. I really do. One way or another, they're going to be brought to justice. I truly believe that. Greed does this, right? Greed of power, greed of money, greed of dominance, greed of being always on top or superior. The greed is there. Greed goes all the way to the other side of pendulum. It says greed doesn't destroy societies by excess. It destroys them by starvation of empathy. And that's exactly where we're at right now. They're trying to starve us. They are starved of empathy. They do not have empathy. And they are trying to get us there. My mother used to say a long time
Have
ago,
no moral compass. They're
yeah,
sociopaths.
yeah,
Sociopaths don't have a moral compass. They don't
but
care
they
about
want
the
us
American
to not
people.
have one.
They
That's
don't
what
care
I'm trying to
about constituents. They just and they manipulate everybody else by playing on their fear.
say.
And and you know, for some people it's working, but the rest of us are saying we've had enough.
Correct, but what they do, my mother used to tell me this when we were in church and stuff like that, because I was raised in a Mormon church. But anyways, what she said that was that the she would call it the devil, right? The devil works on you so much that you lose your empathy and you start doing bad stuff because the devil will work on you that much. And it's like, I know that there's no devil, this, that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is my mom's ideology is coming true. They're working on us so much. We are getting inundated and they're trying to literally remove our empathy.
Because the abnormal has become normal. The unacceptable has become acceptable, just
Right.
like it did in Nazi Germany. You know, there was an interview about when, you know, the Hitler regime was murdering people who had mental disability or was forcefully sterilizing people. Well, we were doing that in the United States, sterilizing criminals in 27 states, and people who had intellectual disability and things like that up until the 1970s. It was only then that it stopped happening.
Right.
So we were doing some of those same things, not murdering people, not exterminating them, no, but but um, they interviewed some of the nurses, and it's almost like something called systematic desensitization. It's like, well, how could you do that? And they justified it. Well, we just carried the babies into the room, and
Yep.
then that's all we did. And then, well, we just assisted the doctors,
Yep.
but we just gave the injection. But in so doing that, we're helping the child to prevent them from having a horrible life. So each step along the way, they justified it until it led to murder.
Yep.
And that's what's going on.
Yeah.
The government is trying to justify it, and there's no justification for murder ever.
Right. So that's what my whole thing about is
Others right. You know,
we
I don't
have to hold
I
on to our empathy.
we have to hold on to our integrity, our empathy, our accountability, and we have to make sure those things come back and demand of our courts and demand that they do. And you know what? The tide is starting to shift because our voices are being heard and our voices will be heard. And that's how we come back to sanity.
Right. They're not going to save us. We're going to have to do it ourselves.
Bingo. You know, I can sit here and kvetch about how dirty my rug is. It's dirty,
Exactly.
da 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 da. Well, guess what? Because I want somebody else to clean up the mess. No, it'll stay dirty until I get the vacuum cleaner and
Yeah.
clean
Yeah. We're going to have to do it. And here's another thing too. Um, this is a white people problem because I've been saying this for quite some time. When we go out there and protest, I don't really, how can I put this delicately? I want all the white people out there as the show because what white supremacy loves to see is all the black people are just, they're the ones not liking it, or the brown people, they don't like it. But when they start seeing droves of their own kind saying no, 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 it makes a difference.
the bottom line is, by virtue of the fact that they're saying that Trump is blaming Mexicans or Latinos or Latin Americans or LGBTQ, the fact that those labels still exist
Right.
shows that there's an issue. Because if we really, really accepted everybody on a human level, we wouldn't care the color of their skin. We wouldn't care their nationality. We wouldn't care about their religion. We would
Yeah,
accept each other. And most of us, many of us do.
we
There's
were
there's
almost
that
there.
few that don't.
This country was almost, we had problems, but we were almost there. Getting to that tipping point where we
All,
were almost
all
on the other side, that we were going to get better at it.
Trump did what most dictators do and how most cults operate. They 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 bring up people's fear.
Yeah.
They're going to take away your jobs. They're going to take away your language. They're going to do this to you. Look at what they're doing. You know, the problems the country is having is because of this group, and we have to get rid of this group. It's happened through the ages. And I think when people become wise to how brainwashing works, and it can happen quickly, because what happens is we suspend our critical thinking, and they get the crowd riled up on emotion,
Right.
and then people think they let their emotions take over, and they suspend their critical thinking.
Right.
And what I see happening now, yes, we're mad, we're speaking up, but I see many of us coming back to bringing our critical thinking back and saying, this is wrong. This is horrible what the administration is doing to innocent human beings. And we have to speak up, not only for them, but for everybody,
Yes.
because it can happen and it's happening to all of us.
Yes.
That's our collective responsibility. And many of us are doing that.
I agree. I agree. We're doing it on platforms as many as we possibly. I know I do mine as plenty as I possibly can, from Facebook to TikTok to YouTube.
And you're doing an excellent job of it, by the way.
Thank- Getting that voice out there and discussing all of these things, and it's like I feel sometimes the exhaustion of everybody. Like, we're done. We can't handle no more. I just can't handle anymore. I hear it with so many of my friends. I just can't handle it anymore. And I don't know what to say to them sometimes. What would you say to those who are just, I can't handle?
Here's what I would say. That's what they want us to feel. They want to beat us down. They want to make us feel defeated. They want to make us feel like that we can't handle it anymore. The only thing that kept Trump going, even when he was going through all of those trials, all of this, all of that, da, 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 he didn't let them wear him down. And we can use that same thing to say, we will not let them wear us down. I saw a cup once, I think it said, no inhibitus bastardos. And it meant don't let the bastards get you down. You know, we'll probably go to YouTube jail for that. Sorry. But so what I say to people is that's what they want to do. And I understand you get tired. And I understand. It's like when you're exhausted from a hard day's work. You've been working for days on end and you're exhausted. But
Yeah.
then get a good night's sleep. Step out of for a second. Come up with strategic plan. Um, uh, you know, relax your mind, relax your body. Get a good night's sleep. Get refreshed. And
Yeah.
then you're not going to feel tired anymore. You know, they want to wear us down. That's what they want. Because if they can wear us down, they want people to say, I quit, I give up, I just can't stand this anymore, I give up. Well, then who wins when they do? Who wins when we give up?
Boy,
And that's my response to it.
yeah. I mean, what they want most is compliance.
No, what they want is power and control.
Correct. For us to
Compliance, that's right. Well, compliance, yes, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So that's what they want from us the most. Shut up, sit down, we're in charge, We're just going to, because you know how many times I get on social media and the response I hear over and over again, well, you got 4 more years, or there's nothing you can do about it anyway. I mean, they literally, that's their voice. There's nothing you can do. There's
That
nothing you can do,
no
you know.
longer that's no
Sit down.
longer acceptable. And
Yeah.
that used to be the apathy, and it's that's that same apathy that helped get us where we are today. This issue with Trump didn't start overnight.
No.
It's been building up for years. For a long time, our people that we were saying you need to get out and vote. You need and people were thinking, oh, the government will fix it. Nah, you know what? Nah, I don't have to. Things take care of themselves. Whatever, right? And it's that apathy that got us to where we are now.
Absolutely.
And we cannot be apathetic about this. We can't say, well, it's too long to wait in 4 years. There's nothing I can do. Here again, that's surrender. That's giving up. That's being lazy.
Yeah. Well, I hate,
That's
I
not
put,
taking responsibility.
yeah.
That's not, we need to take responsibility collectively about what's going on in this country and collectively stop it.
Right. My vote impacts me and everybody. That's the thing I always say. My vote is so important that it impacts me and everybody. And that's the reason why I consider my vote incredibly important. Once we realize that our right to vote, we still have it, is really incredibly important to us, to them, to me, to all of that. And we just got to put some real serious.
Yeah, all of our rights are in question. Our
Yeah.
right to free speech, our right to peaceful assembly, our
Uh,
right to criticize the government without fear of reprisal from the government. And if we don't do something, it makes our Constitution a worthless piece of paper. And that's what Trump is trying to do. He's giving the middle finger to the courts. He's giving the middle finger to everybody. But when the courts have been strong against him, like you cannot do this with the National Guard, he backed off.
so here's my thing too, and we're gonna probably end with this. We've been on for about an hour.
Can I
Um,
just say something real quick?
of course.
Somebody, K. Muldoon says, is this an older movie? I've heard there's a new Nuremberg movie, but I don't think it's out yet. The judgment at Nuremberg was done in 1961. Please see it. The new movie is called Nuremberg. The 1961 movie was about the Nuremberg trials for the Nazi judges. There were 4 judges or 5 brought to trial. This new movie, Nuremberg, is out, was about the parts of the Nuremberg trial that brought the top Nazis to trial, like Goering, Hess, and I think there were a few more. So see Judgment at Nuremberg. That's really an incredible movie, but also see this the new movie. There's in Judgment at Nuremberg, there's a scene where Judy Garland, uh, they call her to court because she was young and she had an older Jewish man that was a friend, and because of that, it was against the Nuremberg laws that Hitler decreed that Jews couldn't be friends with Aryans. And because of the friendship, this man was condemned to death. And it's a really poignant part in the movie. And that one, and Montgomery Clift's part too. It speaks so much as to about what's going on or what can go on. And how in the trial, the lawyer was trying to victimize the victim.
Right.
And that's what Trump is doing, victimizing the victims. And see those movies. I think it'll give a lot of people strength. And it's an eye opener. It really is.
Well, he places us in a position to defend the victim. That's what all he ever does with us is he just places us all in a position, just like with Renee. We have to defend Renee. We should never have had to defend her. She didn't do anything wrong, but here we are defending. That's what he does.
I agree with that, but it's up to us to defend her, because when we defend her, we defend other people that they might do it to, and we defend ourselves and our own rights. We have to.
Right. I mean, that's not what I was trying to say.
No,
What
I
I
know
was
what you're
trying
saying.
to say is in a real nice, good, taken care of, good, society, there would have been no way that we had to been placed in a position to had to have defended. She would have been defended. It would have been like, yeah, that ICE officer is down, he's gone, he's taken away. I mean, in a good society, he would have been just taken off to jail, to prison, and like, you did what you did and it was wrong.
In a
But
good society,
but
he would
not
have,
we
in a
had
good, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, but I'm just saying, but here we're online literally defending her, and they are defending the indefensible.
In a good society,
Weird.
they would have allowed the state to investigate.
Yeah.
In a good society, I mean,
A government that works.
in a non-corrupt federal government.
Yes.
Trump's regime is about as crooked as a barrel of fish hooks.
Yeah.
You know,
We
and
everybody would have known that Renee was murdered, and it was that is that.
they in a non-Trumpian society,
Yeah.
Trump is wanting to make this country dystopian, and it's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
But people are saying things. They're saying, wait, we want an investigation. We don't care what Kristi Noem says. We don't care what Trump says. We're not buying it. We want an investigation. If this man is guilty, then we want him brought to justice.
Yeah.
If, and let the courts decide, because he has a constitutional right to a free and speedy trial with a jury of his peers. Do an investigation. If the grand jury finds that he's guilty, indict him, charge him, take him to court, let him have his day in court. But you cannot victimize the victim. You're right, Sheila. I agree with you 100%, my dear.
Yeah, well, that's the position he forces us into, and that's what gets me.
But he's trying to force us into that position. But guess what? The state of Minnesota is filing lawsuits. They're saying we're going to investigate.
Yeah.
The mayor of Pittsburgh says if ICE agents come here wearing masks, they will be arrested.
Right.
Now, who's going to, then who's going to enforce that? The National Guard? Well, yeah, governor can call in the National Guard, but Trump controls the National Guard then. Our founding parents set up our government with three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. And they're all the balances, all the checks and balances. With Trump, he thinks there just should be one branch of government, and that's the executive, him, because he wants to be the king, the dictator. He wants to control the Western world or the world. He's trying to do away or minimize the legislative and the judicial. Mike Johnson's not Speaker of the House. Donald Trump is. We all know that. But I see Mike Johnson. I see petitions going around soon. I see them ousting him.
I think he's an incredible. I've done a remote view on him. He's an incredible alcoholic right about now, and he's cracking. His whole body, his whole mind, his whole spirit's cracking. But anyways, I wanted to kind of get to like I said, we've been on for about an hour, so we'll go ahead and but I have one little question. I've been saying this for quite some time. When Trump is gone, cut the head off of the snake.
Others will try to spring up, but you got to cut
We
those
all
off.
know that. That's not what I'm talking about. The other ones that spring up, they don't have the power that Trump has ever had. Trump is the one person I have ever seen in my lifetime that has wielded so much power with other people. I am astonished as to how much he has wielded with them.
That's why that's why they call them sociopaths.
Yeah, you cut the head off of the snake, we can then manage the snake.
No, I see we'll get rid of the snake.
Well, that's what I mean. Yes. We get the head off of the snake, we're going to be able to manage the snake after the head is gone.
We've got to do this again. I get passionate.
So do I.
And but you know what? This same
It's
passion that we're doing tonight
yeah.
is the passion that we need
Yes.
and up for our democracy. Because when Trump came to power, make America great again. I'm going to do this, 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 and that. He hasn't done any of that.
But that's not he that's what I was like, there's a separation of his words and what they want. The separation, he wants them people to vote for him, so he gave them what he thought that they would vote for him for. Once that separation has happened, once he's in, it doesn't matter what they want now.
That
They
that
have an idea of what America great is. It is not our idea, it is their idea. When they
that's
say it, it's not what with us.
that's how sociopath works.
Yes,
They go,
absolutely.
I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that. Da 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 da. The mind control, the emotional control, the mind F word.
Yeah.
Then they get the power, and then when people say, "But wait a minute, you promised this, this, and that," then they turn against them, or they twist the narrative and say, "How could you say this? Look what I've done for you." When really, they're destroying everything.
Right. So it's like the Trojan horse. I will give you everything that you want. Vote for me. After the vote is there, then they're going to go, "Oh, I told you that you were going to make America great. No, I'm going to make America great."
Well, just
This
like
is
he's saying,
how we're going to do that.
Make Venezuela great again. Now that's what he's saying. This make things great again, that is not flying anymore.
No.
That people are going to get so tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to buy off Greenland and
Yeah.
talking about going into Iraq and you know, uh, you know, people in Congress are going to start to realize they better do something or they're going to get voted out. He's trying to mess with the midterms. That's why he's creating all these diversions because
Absolutely.
he doesn't want the Epstein files coming out.
Yep.
He doesn't want Jack Smith's testimony coming out. Um, but Jack Smith's testimony will come out, and it's going to be really damning.
I
And
know.
I see the Epstein files being released as well, without being redacted. They're saying, oh, they're redacted because it's classified as this. Oh, BS. They're just trying to protect Trump, and everybody knows it.
We do. We do. Do that again.
I
Do
don't
like
know
that.
I don't know what happened. My computer, there
Give
must
it a thumbs up or something.
whatever I was saying, my
Yeah.
computer must have liked it.
What happened? All of a sudden, a thumb up showed up on the
Does
screen.
that occasionally. I think it's haunted.
I
I'm doing
was like, that was weird.
I didn't press anything. I don't know. It's like
Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the Gemini and the Aries. We do have a very passionate conversations, but the truth is, at the end of the day, we're all on the same page. We're all in the same boat. We're heading. We're wanting to go to the same place where all of this has got to stop, and we can get to the other side of this beautiful and wonderful new world that we are going into. I feel so much that we're almost there. I don't know what almost there. I mean, next week, no, but we're almost there. We've been 10 years into it.
Sheila, it's kind of it's I mean, you and I agreed tonight. It sounded like we weren't, but we really were.
Absolutely, we agree.
Driving home points. But it used to be in this country that Democrats and Republicans could like each other.
Yes.
Become so polarized that they want us to hate each other.
Yes.
And I refuse to hate. I
Yes.
strenuously do not agree with what ICE is doing, and I despise racism and bigotry and prejudice, and I will fight to my dying breath to stop it in this country. But it used to be, yeah, we had our differences, but we could have our different opinions and respect them.
Yeah.
And we need to get back to that. I'm not talking about the ultra right wing.
Yeah, we just can't do it right now.
Trump is even turning his back on MAGA now. Now he wants the Trumplicans or the Trump whatever, the Trump things. And you know what? That evil will be eradicated.
Yeah, it will. What is not, if somebody used to tell me, what is not of spirit will be removed.
Well, we used to get along, kind of. But I mean, we respected each other. But he's even turned against the own party, the Make America Great Again, that he created.
Yeah.
Because look what he did to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I do not like her,
No.
and as far as I'm concerned, it was karmic because how she said stuff about other people and then they had death threats. But when it happened to her, oh, she didn't like it.
Yeah.
But look how he turned on her. And he's going to turn on a lot of other people. And they're going to be sitting there going, whoa, what happened? And it's like, you drank the Kool-Aid. You drank the Kool-Aid. Now you got to be responsible for what you drank.
Right. Well, I hope you liked this spirited conversation. I sure did. I hope you stick around for that. And if you don't subscribe to Mel, please do. And if you don't subscribe to me, please subscribe. That's how we stay here. This is what we do.
Everybody in Chicago, keep warm.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, my son and daughter-in-law and my granddaughter lives up in Chicago up there. So,
Well, it was funny when this morning I got up and I walked outside. It was like 40 degrees, and I came back and I laid down. And then I laid down for about another hour or two, and I looked out and there was snow. And we don't have a garage. We have a townhouse, but there's no garage here. So I take the room, and as I go out, I'm thinking, well, it's snowing, but it's not that cold. And as I'm cleaning the snow off my car, the wind was like hitting me, and it
oh
was
yeah.
like this wet, sleety
Oh,
snow. And I'm like, oh my God.
that's that lake effect.
Like snow. It
Yeah.
was, and within a couple hours, the temperature dropped like, let's see, well, 38, 20, 20, 30, the temperature dropped by 15 degrees
Woo.
or 20 degrees. And now tonight it's going to be 12. This morning it was 40. And it's supposed to
Yeah.
snow more tomorrow. Normally it takes me about 10 minutes to get to work, but the roads were icy and it took me almost a half an hour. And in fact, we canceled 2 clients today at the end because I'm not afraid to drive in snow, but it was just getting icy and it's like, ugh, and all that sleet has frozen. And so
Yeah.
we have black ice, and that's dangerous. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Chicago driving is no joke.
Chicago is like the politicians. Wait a minute, and the weather will change.
Yeah. Here in Colorado, we're so old hat about it. Nobody stays at home anymore. They're like, we're going.
Well, I don't mind a snowstorm. I don't mind that at all. It's
Yeah.
that black ice. I mean, I don't mind driving in snow. I mean, Chicagoans, for us, 6-inch snow is nothing.
I know.
But it's the ice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's terrible. All right, everyone. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful, what is it, Wednesday evening? Bye.